Welcome everyone, you're watching the Ahistorical Gamer. Joining me today is the Soviet Prince.
Hello.
And we will be celebrating the beginning of World War III by being retro and going back right to the start of World War II. So, the date is September the 1st, 1939, under the pretext of reclaiming the city of Danzig. Well, actually, the valiant German people, are under attack by the evil Polacks, who have attacked our radio facility. And the SS has then brutally murdered the prisoners who conducted the false flag attack. Let us begin. After a series of diplomatic coups in neighbouring countries, Germany has expanded its territory and influence in Europe. Now, determined to rescind the further territorial changes that took place after the Great War, the German army sets out to invade Poland. Yeah, that's correct. We are gonna revise the Versailles Treaty. Oh, and the Kriegsmarine has granted us a unit of 20mm flak guns. I'll take it. So the fighting is now here in northern Poland, coming from, well, we're pushing on Malowa from the north. And then I believe this is a front coming through the Vistula towards Warsaw. Warsaw is about, well, it's just south, just about there. However, we have come into contact with strong defensive positions. We've unlocked the tank school upgrade, so let's begin. In concert with the invasions in western Poland, we will form the northern drive on the Polish capital city. As a result of the peace treaty signed after the Great War, the German border of East Prussia lies only some 120 kilometers north of Warsaw. Polish Modlin army has dug in around the town of Mlawa, protected by a line of trenches and concrete bunkers. Yeah, they also got timber ones as well. Good old palisades. Manned by a determined opponent, this position has managed to repel our initial attack waves. There you can see the burned out recon and light tanks. Is that a Panzer Jaeger 1? No, it's a Panzer 1.
Yeah.
Which is still on, there's a Panzer 2. Our current objective remains, I think this is the Vistula River here at Chienczynau, is to break through these enemy forces and continue our advance into northern Poland. Beyond the front line, little resistance is expected, and the Poles will certainly retreat towards Warsaw. So that's basically, we expect them to retreat further south. Following the reports of the stubborn enemy resistance and significant casualties suffered by our vanguard, OKW has dispatched additional reserves. These troops and equipment will be available for deployment soon. While I handle that, what are your thoughts on the kind of beginnings of the First World War, Vexy?
Start of the First World War was a bit slow on the side of the Allies, but fast.
So I meant to say the Second World War. What were the causes of the Second World War? My mind's in the past, man. It's in the past.
God damn. Thoughts on the Second World War, or just the start of it?
Or on the lead up to it, you know, people call it
Oh, the
kind of
lead
the
up.
Dark
Okay.
Valley.
The sort of the pre-World War II. It was a difficult time for the world. I think you had the Great Depression kicking off.
Yeah, I think that
And you had
really
the
undermined people's faith in democracy.
Yeah, and that directly influenced the rise of fascism in several places, I believe. Especially, you had prohibition coming to an end in America just before the war broke out as well, which
Yeah,
was
that's a good thing.
make of that
I'm
whole
not
world.
sure the booze really affected the desire for fascism or against it,
Yeah.
but it was like a wild time, and I think it sort of gets to the core that people were trying to change society. Like everyone saw World War One as just this breaking point of Western civilization. It was
Yeah.
even a book like The Decline of the West that came out just It was very, very influential in Germany and still is to a certain extent, especially in conservative circles. But even like left wing ideas of like Western imperialism, influenced by this very conservative German figure. And you have all these different ways that people sort of like try to deal with the failure of the First World War and this sort of pointless bloodletting. You know, you got the rise of communism in Russia. You have the rise of fascism in Germany and Italy. You have kind of a new kind of reactionary conservatism in Spain. And then in the United States, you have the idea of like the progressive movement, which sort of runs its course as the kind of, because there's a secular variant of progressivism, and then there's a kind of, would you say, liberal conservative progressivism that came in with the prohibition, and they're all trying to reform humanity in their own way, so that like the massive bloodletting. And remember that not only do you have maybe 20 million people die in the First World War, you have another 20 million die in the 1918 flu. Because you've got what was called the Spanish flu. Actually, the Spanish were just trying to warn everyone, guys, there's this terrible virus that's killing everyone. And then the Spanish get blamed for it, even though they didn't actually start it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
And
wild, man.
another thing I think, in regards to Spain, is it kicked off a refugee crisis as well, like a massive refugee crisis across Britain and sort of mainland Europe. A lot fled to Britain, a lot fled into France when the Civil War kicked off. Yeah, and they literally they sort of had their hands full with that for a lot of leading up to World War Two. So it was just a hectic time for the West.
Yeah, I know. What a time to be alive.
Because they were at the arrival of a third fascist state really sort of threw the balance of power sort of, I wouldn't say off the scales, but I'd say it was looking a bit grimmer, you know.
Yeah, I get exactly what you mean, man. Like, it was a crazy, crazy time in human history.
Yeah, and technology was just kicking off as well, and you had everything like the plane being invented like a few years earlier, just before World War One, and like that entire period from World War One to World War Two is just crazy, dude. Like, just crazy. It's amazing if
Visions.
you look back how far we came.
I'm just trying to decide on an Air Force or if I even want to go with one. Hands of one.
It's interesting. I haven't seen the side of Order of Battle World War Two yet.
Oh yeah, because you
I've
only
only
got the base campaign. This is like the paid campaign. They did put a lot more work into the paid campaigns. Like, I can say that right now. I think you can still do this as like a trial mission. I think you can trial the first mission in every campaign. Oh, I can't decide what I want to do, Vexy. What do I want to do?
artillery only.
Artillery.
Gotta do artillery only.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to get the good old-fashioned Focke-Wulf Condor, which in my opinion is way slower than it actually was. I wish they would update that. I actually went online to go bother the devs about that.
I've done that before. In games where I really want something, I've pestered the devs a bit for it. And they've never added it. No one listens
Yeah,
to me.
they did like send like an automated response, and like it was the most cookie cutter thing. Ugh. You see, now they've put mines in my path, Vexy. Made me a
Those
very, very unhappy man.
those monarchist bastards.
You see, that'll take me quite a while to clear those landmines.
Yeah.
Actually, I can see them. Oh, bugger, I have spotting on them now. Oh, actually, they're fully entrenched anyway. Okay, so... So we're attacking the fortified line towards Malawa now. And my plan is basically actually to just build up artillery in this sector and just keep pounding, pounding, pounding. Not even sure if I should have gone with like buying engineers and planes, but about to find out whether I made the right call. Actually, you
So I
know
guess
what?
you're going with the
I'm
Soviet.
gonna. I think I'm gonna very quickly restart, do a cheeky restart. You saw nothing.
Nothing happened. KGB will clean everything up. Don't worry about it.
Okay, so sorry. The real beginning to my military campaign begins now. Yes, the first time was a practice. That was practice. Okay, you all know what practice looks like. Practice. Oh, good, and I
It
can
was
get
just
a
a dream.
plane. So that's good, 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 good. So a little light on air, but I have lots of planes. Am I? Is that going to be in range of the fort? Probably. Definitely, maybe. Answer which I seek. Alright, let's go. Let's do this. Not going to mess it up this time. Good, now I can bombard Polish infantry. So this is the good thing about YouTube. When you mess up, you can... If at first you don't succeed, you can try again.
That's like a life advice, huh?
Absolutely. Learn from the master. Okay, let's see how the Polish react. Good, they haven't got any planes in the air yet. Good for me. I need to... So I'm planning I'll move with my artillerymen. I'll keep moving around and I'll do an encirclement. So they got engineers backing them up. I'll keep my planes grounded just for now. I'll keep bombarding. And I am mildly worried about what they're going to do with me, but I am kind of hoping that the Polish will launch a counterattack, hit me in the river. Yeah, I've got enough. I don't need to kill any of my men just yet. And they are going to hit me in the river. And they are going to counterattack. Well, at least we've pulled them into range of our artillery. Okay, additional troops have now arrived. They haven't actually arrived, but they are at the staging area. Oh no. Ah, that's so annoying. Can't
Oh, yeah.
actually... Hang on, what? Thou shalt not say what I just did.
My eyes are sealed. I did not see nothing.
That's such a cheese.
I wonder if Hitler had like a time machine. He could crank back the clock a little, you know? He
Yeah.
just went to his grandfather
Hey,
clock and stuck
Monday morning quarterbacking is the greatest tool for all armchair generals to win battles. And I'll tell you the ridiculous thing, they didn't retreat this time, which made that completely unnecessary because of like RNG mechanic.
That's interesting.
Well, that doesn't matter. Actually, I should have just done that. I didn't realise for some reason that I could just move off to the right-hand side of the rip. No, did I do it? I did it. I screwed it again. Because I wasn't paying attention and I moved it to the wrong tile. This is the problem with talking, man.
Oh God. Oh Jesus God.
Let's do the time warp again.
So my watch is telling me that around 5:13 I had a heart attack. Apparently 155 heart rate.
Did someone drink like the super strong energy drink?
No, it's just saying I had a ridiculous heart rate. That's not possible. I'd be dead.
Oh, really? I had anti-tank hidden. Sucks. Well, that's me done.
Viva Polska!
Polska. Polska.
How do you what was the last message Poland sent? Last Poland message. It said
Poland is not yet lost, I think it was.
yeah, Poland's not yet lost. It's-
Brave words. Or brave people.
Given the
It's,
context of your game, it's probably gonna be Germany is not yet lost.
no, hey, I am working this out, man. You'll see.
Well, right now the Polish are not too scared, I guess.
Uh, I need something.
I mean, in real life, to be fair, they put up a fucking amazing effort.
Yeah, I have
Given
to agree with that. Like, the French
they were
just
given,
did not engage, and then they kind of got, like, bit roasted by the Soviets. So
literally.
I think they kind of put up as much fight as you could reasonably expect a nation to in said circumstances. You know what? I'm
Yeah.
gonna go with the Panzer One, man. Like the old school action. Panzer One will get it done. I can actually afford a plane, so I think. Oh, what the heck? I'll go with the con. No, I shouldn't have gone with the Condor, but whatever. All right, whatever. I'm an idiot. I'm not the wisest of men. Looks clear up ahead. Hopefully there's not like a huge array of infantry waiting at the very obvious ambush point directly ahead of me because I'm going to try and charge right through it. Everyone's kind of just engaging in an artillery duel at the moment. So they got fortifications there. I'm going to go wide. I don't get any flanking bonus. I maneuver back. Wait for next turn. Actually, I can move my bomber up, move my fighter up. Rail transport. Because real men fight with trains.
Real men run trains into each other and see what happens.
I think I'll just let these guys keep fighting it out. Like, I'll try and hope the Poles keep fighting this attritional battle. Ah, they reinforced instead. No. Oh, they're counter-attacking. I reckon the AI is a lot smarter than when I first started playing this. I also reckon they amped the difficulty up. Okay. Okay, goodbye. Good riddance. Nasty Polacks. Is Polacks still allowed? Vex,
Pollock.
you're my
Pollock.
expert on political matters.
If it's polio, then it's most certainly allowed, especially in America.
Like, isn't
Pol
Polak like a
Pol
nasty name for a Polish person?
oh, a Pollock? No. It's-
Okay, see, no
I'm
casualties.
gonna Google offensive names for Polish. Polak. There we go. It's
Yeah,
Polak.
okay. Polak, okay.
Yeah,
So if I
Polak.
call them Polacks, like locks of Polish hair, then that's perfectly fine,
There's
right?
lots of Polish. Yeah. Just pen them off and treat them like farm animals. Oh god, oh god, oh god, no, no, we're not going
Vexy,
there.
what
Oh
are you
Jesus.
saying?
Oh,
You're like me when I like very idiotically, because I was incredibly socially awkward when I was younger. Like, I remember someone told me that their mother had died, and I was actually worried. Like, I was worried about them because I hadn't seen them in a long time. But like an idiot, I said, "Well, I'm glad nothing bad happened."
yeah, we've all been there, man. I've done just
And
things
like I
just to
literally like no like I literally banged my head against a brick wall. It's like, did I actually just say that? Like it actually makes you feel for George W. Bush with his Iraq comment. Just a
yeah,
little
really.
bit. Even though Iraq was a stupid war.
It was a stupid war. Yeah.
Great is
I
the
mean,
guilt.
any modern wars, any war after World War II was pretty stupid, to be honest.
Yeah, that is a good point. That's actually a very good point. And sad.
It is pretty sad. Especially we haven't learned that just this wars just leave nothing. It's nothing is
Yeah,
nothing to
like,
the game.
yeah, I've said that before. Like, there was only one winner, maybe two winners in World War One, and guess who it was? It was the United States, and it was the Soviets. It was maybe not the Soviet people or the people of Russia, but like they certainly like got what they wanted. The United States or the elite in the United States got what they wanted. They kind of earned the whole Merchant of Death moniker. Like, unfortunately. Do I want another Panzer One? Like that is an
Absolutely.
interesting question. Can you ever have
Absolutely.
enough Panzer? And what Vexy says is
According to
no.
Blitzkrieg, no.
I could get a Panzer IV.
Says here, according to Blitzkrieg, that an armored spearhead is essential.
Is there any
The
like?
Book of Blitzkrieg, paragraph 1, chapter verse 9.
There's a book of Blitzkrieg?
Book of Blitzkrieg,
Now I've heard everything.
written
The,
by
the,
Heinrich Himmler,
the
son of
book of
Adolf
Blitzkrieg.
Hitler.
In a way, that's
Bible
mildly horrifying.
What?
Book of Blitzkrieg?
Oh yeah, it's like the Bible, but for like Nazis.
Oh, no. Think I'm gonna be sick. Right, let's
It's a
go. Let's get a Panzer 2. One Panzer. I probably need like one Panzer that has good defense. Man, I can't decide. I'm not a man who's cut out for these decisions, Vexy.
Uh,
I'm really not.
hmm, a Panzer. I don't know. I think you'd be more suited with like a lot of tanks, I guess. Are you trying to like focus on an armored sort of run, or are you going to like full air force?
I haven't decided yet. I'm in
I
a
I
state
don't
of doubt.
I don't know anything about this game, but I guess that an armor's probably going to be more useful in the early war years.
Alright, yeah, let's go. Yeah, you're right. Let's do it. Do it to it.
And you have that flak. You have those flak guns, right?
Yeah,
So if
yeah,
you,
they're
you
they're they're
yeah,
covering my artillery positions.
yeah. If you ever get a little bit more ballsy, you could try moving someone else up to help
Get a
you with your tank,
Stuka.
I guess.
I can't decide if I want to get a Stuka.
Stuka would be nice.
Stukas are good. Get Stukas.
Stukas and armor. There we go. It's like in real life. Germans spammed out Stukas and little in the
The
war tanks as
Stuka
like.
was actually like people trash on it now because like its flight characteristics weren't great. But on the dive, it was a fantastic, like really defensible aircraft. I mean, like so long as you had air superiority and the planes could like have the time to have a leisurely gaining of altitude, like they could dive really fast. Like the airframe
Oh
was
yeah.
really strong. Anyhow, words
The
of
only
war.
the only downside to the Stuka was the trumpets that gave away in the pilot's position when
Well,
you
I
were fighting.
mean, early on, like they actually did scare like really green troops. They just like they were kind of useless later on.
Yeah.
Like once people understood, like oh, how aircraft work, they can't really see me that well from altitude. Like it became much less effective. Anyhow, words of war. Great Britain and France have declared war on Germany, honouring their pre-war agreement with Poland. But so far, the Western Allies remain mostly passive, giving only moral support to their Eastern ally. And by the way, might I just call out how much the British actually like messed with the Poles?
Yeah, we
Um,
did tease them a lot.
like literally, Chamberlain basically like Chamberlain gets hate on for like oh he trusted Hitler, he trusted Chamberlain didn't trust Hitler. Like he can't he knew he was dealing with a snake. If there's a criticism of Chamberlain, and also he got what he needed to get in the London naval treaty, like which stopped Hitler being able to build a fleet that could invade the United Kingdom. Like if there's a criticism of Chamberlain, it is definitely that he interfered with Polish mobilization by basically saying at the last minute, right as all of Hitler's army was mobilizing on the border, don't provoke Hitler, don't call your reservists up, don't declare mass mobilization. It might upset, don't like this is not something that like no, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Hitler knows exactly what he's doing. Like you've been very, very conciliatory throughout your rule, uh, and like I understand that like Chamberlain had the right to, although it's a bit more questionably in because he was like speaking for his allies. It's questionable whether he had the right to speak for the Poles in that. Like it is like I certainly believe that civilians should be able to decide when a war begins, but there also needs to be an understanding that like you can really trash your army and like the opening stage of the war by refusing to give the order. You know, that's true with, you know, Roosevelt, or actually with Roosevelt wasn't informed about the threatening note to the Japanese embassy. I think it was King, who basically like dithered about issuing a warning to Pearl Harbor, or Stalin, who kind of dithered about like issuing his own mobilization notice. Like, if there's a criticism of Chamberlain, like it's that he refused to give the Poles permission to defend themselves, and you know that created a very very narrow, thin front line that literally played entirely into the Germans' hands. Like that's what he needs to be condemned for. Like, I actually think the negotiations, while not great, you know, like, understand that the British were kind of negotiating from, in their view, a position of weakness. Because Hitler, on paper at least, seemed to have a very, very large army. It wasn't anywhere near as effective as everyone thought it was. Another criticism is probably that he didn't invest in espionage to check. At least those are my thoughts on the issue. But you know, I'm the guy who thinks we should have like negotiated over Ukraine. I
I
think
mean,
that was very foolish not to have done that.
I mean, Putin wasn't really going to listen, I guess, to any negotiation.
I don't know about that. I think that if we had have like granted him that, you know, like a constitutional reform within Ukraine, and we had a kind of twisted the Ukrainians' arms in it, that they won't join any faction militarily unless they're invaded by a third party. And obviously we leave out who said third party is, but you know, everyone knows it's Russia, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but I think that guaranteeing that they will stay out of the West sphere militarily, while at the same time trying to integrate them economically, I don't know if that could have worked. Certainly, like, understand that, like, the problem with negotiations in the Russian case was that prior to the dissolution of the Soviet Union, right, we
Yeah.
essentially guaranteed to the, well, we promised, pinky promised the Soviets that, you know, NATO will not expand past Germany. And then a decade later, NATO is in basically every country bordering Russia, and we have bases, like the US has air bases in Kazakhstan, even though they're not formally a member. And then we were like, hey, Putin, we promise that Ukraine's not going to join NATO. Like, you don't think our word isn't dirt?
Yeah. Well, now you put it like that, I guess you are right, but I don't think war is ever the answer to anything.
Well, I agree. Like, oh, don't get me wrong. Putin needs to be punished for this. Like, this is
Yeah.
not something that, like, we can let him get away with, in my opinion.
Especially the killing of civilians
But
and stuff. That's
yeah,
nasty.
yeah, yeah. Well, they didn't actually do that when they still thought it was going to be a 2 week operation. The Russians were actually tried to check their fire and do things that their army really wasn't trained, or even, in my opinion, capable to do in the
Now it's
first 2 weeks.
all.
Yeah, yeah. Now it's become a free for all, and I mean, like, here's the thing though. Even if Putin were to like directly order everyone to like not kill civilians, it's not going to make a drop of difference, because they've expended all of their precision guided munitions. Like, they don't have anything else to fire now. They're literally just eating into their Cold War stockpile. Like, the only thing that's keeping them in the fight now is basically their inheritance from the Soviet Union. And it must be like
Stalin.
eating so much like gall right now that a lot of the weapons used against them were made in the Soviet Union.
By the Ukrainian.
Yeah, by the Ukrainians or by themselves.
All by themselves, all by their like. Okay, so
You know, like the
the
ship that
Ukraine
was sunk,
it's
the Moskva. Like that was
and they're
built.
being fired back at them, which is just some sort of peaceless irony.
Oh, it's painful, man. It's painful to deal with like the harsh realities of existence. I swear, it really is sometimes.
From what the latest headlines are saying, Russia wants to just keep the territories it's taken and sort of peace out. I think that's where it's going.
Well, that's
They're gonna have
basically
to
all they
take
can do. I thought that their stockpiles would be enough to keep them in the fight for about 6 months, but I'm basically having to revise my estimates, brother. Like, I think they're almost at the point where are just going to have to dig in and like await the Ukrainian counterattack.
I mean, if they do peace out, then there's nowhere NATO isn't going to accept Ukraine now. Like, if they do peace out, and then obviously in the West is going to take in
Yeah,
Ukraine.
Ukraine, and they're going to take in Russia. Oh, here here's a great political question. What do you think Putin offered Erdogan to keep Finland and Sweden out of NATO? You know, like
Oh
it,
God.
because it's like he's definitely offered them like subsidized oil and gas. Like that's like obviously the absolute bare minimum opener. But like you know, Erdogan's like keep it coming. Yep, keep it coming, keep it coming. You know, how about the still beating heart of your firstborn, or your daughter's hand in marriage? Well, you know, which
What
daughter?
about the Lenin's mausoleum?
Yeah,
That
yeah.
sounds good.
Which daughter do you ask? Well, both daughters, of course.
What about an imperial egg? What was those eggs that the Russians have?
Oh,
The
the decorate the Romanov ones.
Romanov eggs,
It's
yeah.
all for like, like I reckon he's got to like Putin must have offered like one way technology sharing of his most advanced military hardware. You know, like the T14, the Armada, was it? The new
Yeah.
Russian super tank, like hand over the design documents, hand over a prototype. I reckon he's offered the Turks like unlimited access to Russian spy satellites, and favors at NATO to give the Russian veto for Turkish expansion in northern Syria. Like,
20 Kopek.
and I wonder what the Americans are offering. You know, what are they offering Erdogan, or are they kind of like just getting the stink eye over it?
Hmm.
Like you're supposed to be a member of our alliance. Can't you do something because you like us? And then Erdogan's like, no, you tried to launch a coup against me, so pay up. My country is
Yeah.
experiencing hyperinflation. Buy bonds.
Bye,
buy, buy those
oh,
Turkish lira.
screaming bomb. And you've got the Kurds just like
Yeah, the Kurds are going to be messed up. Yeah, yeah. There's another thing, like abandon the Kurds. Oh, I didn't even think of that. Like complete. Like, what's going to happen to Rojava now? Like, did we
gonna get
trade? Did we just trade Rojava Game of Thrones style for Finland and Sweden? Like, how is this going to end? Like, it's sad and wild, and I barely even know what to say, man. Like this is getting crazy. I mean, the whole thing is crazy.
really is quite sad.
Don't know what to say. Oh, really? They had AA?
Oh shit.
Oh, man.
Get a huge encirclement. Yeah.
Oh, no, I shouldn't have done that. Is that a bomber? I think that's a fighter, so I can safely attack that. Oh no, but I'm in the AA range from this. Alright, counterattack, counterattack. Come on, man, you can do it, you can do it. No, that kind of worked. Oh shit, they're fighting back. Oh shit, they're really good.
You got this Mussolini like tiptoes into friggin' Greece and then like immediately backpedals. Shit, shit, shit.
Yeah, one of the levels in this game is Greece, so
Interesting.
we will get to Greece shortly, my friend. I mean,
Oh
mein
god.
Freund. So what? I got to take the airfield in 20 turns. Okay, I can do that.
Speaking of Greece, they tried to do a major cover up. Some disgusting, like, second
Things.
into like
The dark
Holocaust. Yeah,
history of Greece.
yeah. Try to cover it up in 7. It's like sent in teams to like destroy all the paperwork that had been abandoned there and stuff. Women committing suicide because they're having their kids taken away from.
Oh, that's messed up. Was that in the leper colony?
Yep, lepers.
That's
Well, there's
biblical. Oh, do I want to charge in? Oh, no. Come on, mighty condor.
Darlin will help you out.
Well, I hope
She'll
so.
just come
Okay,
from
so
behind. And, what the fuck?
is this
The
going to
bow
turn into one of those riding rooms where, and we will take them from the rear?
Maybe.
Maybe not.
Depends what kind of mood he's in.
Depends what kind of mood that.
Yeah.
Mildly disturbed. My engineers are just slowly moving along. Quickly, men.
Doesn't have
You need to get to the minefield as quickly as possible. Soldiers love being in minefields.
Quickly, go jump on up and down on that minefield until you go boom. Yeah,
Oh
today
my.
the news frog on the minefield. Today our men will do the exercises on the minefield.
Oh good, I made it back to base. I'm a happy man now. You know, the Polish Air Force did make an effort. Their bomber force was somewhat modern.
Yeah.
Oh, they're overrunning my artillery. You know, I think the commentary is more interesting when there's 2 people. And as a game, I reckon this does lend itself to commentary because it's turn-based. Come on, get that Blitzkrieg going. Ooh, encircled. Ooh, Polish supplies. Stolen supplies are the best kind of supplies. So ready to clear the minefield next turn, or I could also go around it. Okay, artillery destroyed. Still got some bunkers to crack, they need to rest. I'll just let everyone rest. Maybe, should I push it, Vex? Should I push it?
Go for it.
Oh, there's one right near it.
Oh god.
Could get another tactical bomber. I don't know what I should do. Oh, bugger it. Let's go. Get it good. Let's get it good. I was hoping I could deploy from the southern airfield, but I can't. And I'll redeploy the Messerschmitt. Oh, they're coming in for a counter-attack? Come on, man. I wanted to give my guys some R&R. Oh, that's a heavy hit. Because they're tired from all the fighting. I do like it that this does take into account how tired your men are. You can see that the numbers slowly turning red. Like gone from white to yellow and then to red. Oh, did I get hit again? Ah, here comes the bombers. Neutrality. Following Italy's example, the United States and the Emperor of Japan have decided to remain neutral in the new European conflict. I gotta reverse this. Minefield is clear. They're hiding in the bushes. They're gonna cut me off next turn, but oh well. Can I just... Ooh, we got some Polish cavalrymen here. Stay away from the tanks! Oh, you hear the story about that?
No.
Oh, that's the kind of the meme that the German propaganda tried to put forward, that, oh, the Poles were really dopey and sort of like they'd sent their cavalry to die against German tanks. And it's like, really, like the battle that they claim never actually happened. What the closest that happened was that because German armored cars, so not tanks, and Polish cavalry, they both served as maneuver and recon elements in their respective armies. Like, sometimes those two bumped into each other. Like, the Polish cavalry didn't charge. Like, they got off the horses and they used boys' anti-tank rifles. Like, they weren't dopey.
A lot of Germans had this ideals of the Polish being sort of weak and pathetic.
Well, I think the Germans had that idea of all of their enemies being like that, or at least the Nazis did. And you know, look how that turned out for them. It was very, very foolish.
Never underestimate you.
Yeah, exactly, man. Never
Napoleon
underestimate your enemy. Napoleon did underestimate Wellington, but he kept calling him the Sepoy General. Oh man, like I wouldn't do that if I were you. Never insult a sober Irishman.
I know that too well. In the pub, you look at an Irishman funny and it'll break your jaw.
Yeah, that's a good point. Never insult a drunk one either.
Yeah, especially not the drunk ones. Oh god. Oh god, I'm having flashback.
Flashbacks? Oh no.
Back to 1991. Trouble.
Oh no, the troubles. Sorry, it took me a moment.
Oh
I'm becoming an old man, Vex.
We all do eventually.
I'm not quick in getting these things like I used to be back in the day.
Back in when you were a young whippersnapper.
Yeah, exactly. Back when I could actually like work a 6-day
Okay.
week and not like just collapse on the couch after it.
Oh no, man. Oh, chat. I'm such a boomer, dude. Oh, Jesus.
Okay, so I got one last objective to take here. I still need to destroy... Oh, I only need to destroy 4 units. Oh, they're gonna bomb my artillery. No. It's
God.
okay. It was non-core forces.
Peroni.
I don't have to pay for those. That's someone
That's good
else's
then.
responsibility.
Arnold be shot.
Man, they really love going after the artillery, don't they?
Yep. Makes them very warm, very sentimental
This is like
inside.
really intense maneuver warfare that's going on, actually. I reckon if I dunk the Stuka on the cavalry... Yeah, good. So now their tank is isolated. Push them back. These guys... Or do I want to hit the... Oh, man. I want to... Actually, I can take the airbase, I think. It's going to take some effort. A lot of the sandbags are clear. Because what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to take the airfield and then I can land at the Polish airfield. Try and restock on their stuff. Man, they are just holding in there. Those brave, brave men. Baptized in fire, 40 to 1. Even though I think that was the Battle of, like, Wilna or something like that. Battle immortalized in the Sabaton song.
Yeah. Something like.
And this is Mlawa. And I have just realised I am horrible at pronouncing Eastern European names. I'm just doing what I can, man.
Oh,
Yeah,
Jesus.
that's it. The PZL-23B. This was actually a really good bomber, like, as a level bomber for its era. You know, it's got rear-mounted turret, top and bottom. Like, sort of average speed, but good airframe, good bomb load. If the Poles had made more of those, like, it could have been a serious problem. But I think the real problem was, like, there was no kind of version of NATO. And I mean, even late in the war, everyone was having problems with, like, Polish troops, like, not having English as a language, weren't really enough translators. Like, it led to a confusion in Market Garden and in the planning beforehand. Like, the commander of the Polish airborne, I think it was Sosabowski, or he repeatedly tried to warn the British that no, German reaction to any kind of airborne landing, especially if it's done in daylight, will be very, very rapid. And so they went a bridge too far.
We can't take your men. We don't have space for them.
Yeah, that's
So we
it.
can't accept your surrender. So you're going to have to get kill.
That was the guy who always carried an umbrella. He was like one of the battalion commanders, was it? And it's like,
Yes,
why? And
Digby.
his men asked him, "Why do you always carry an umbrella, sir?" And it's like, because I always forget the password, and I'm always worried that it's going to end up getting me shot. So I carry around an umbrella. No one could ever mistake me for anyone other than an Englishman.
I mean,
Hey,
always things. I mean, he was right
prisoners.
there. Prisoners, shoot them all.
Well, I think there were a few war crimes. The Germans actually used Polish civilians as human shields in this battle, so
Oh
I,
God.
I feel somewhat dirty playing. I'll enforce them back. Ah, really? I got damaged there? That's annoying. Let's see what's up ahead. Like just a fort. I'm hoping we'll get to easier going. By the way, I like how the battles in this game do tend to mimic like the real history. And they've obviously really put a lot of effort into that, like giving you like a very similar tactical
Yeah.
challenge to what was faced by the real generals. I admit it does cut down replayability. I definitely think it was the right choice. And like my issue though with this game like is it's these weird objectives like the first one destroy a bunker in 3 turns. Like that kind of forces you to railroad yourself and I kind of wish they hadn't done that.
Hmm.
But I do like things like oh take this defensive line, take that defensive line. But you just get resource points. Like I like that as a way of like encouraging you to mimic real history. I don't like it when you have to kind of compete for your commanders because they are like so crucial in the late game. Oh, another little Polish counterattack there. I'm just slowly grinding experience on my artillery. Don't mind me. Oh my. Hey, I got encircled. You can't encircle me. I'm encircling you.
No, you Uno reversal card is.
Draw 10. Go fish. Kinda surprised I haven't seen their bombers again this game. I bet there's a whole bunch of infantry in there. Oh, precious resource points. You know, the funny thing is, like, I have plenty of resource points, but I've actually already played the end game, like the Einzig maps, and oh boy, like, you need every resource point you can get. Like, it counts. Oh no, the bomber did come back. Hey, the Blitzkrieg is over. The French are finally launching their counterattack to save Poland. French
Sounds good.
army has launched an offensive in the Rhine Valley near Saarbrücken. Still unprepared for major combat operations in the west, Berlin hopes that this operation remains limited in scope. And historically it did, like the French only really advanced in like company strength. Their advance was super heavily supported by artillery. Like literally every movement had artillery support. And I think they really were hoping that like they'd basically be able to like fight this kind of massed artillery battle. They wouldn't need to take any casualties really. But unfortunately that's just not how the World War was gonna turn out. And in a way, like they were just way too ambitious. They were kind of hoping they could do everything and achieve everything. Oh, we took the objective. You know, they thought they could get the Belgians and the Netherlands and keep them in the war. They thought they could sort of run a simultaneous operation in Norway to keep, you know, to try and disperse and divide the German forces and keep as much of the fighting as possible off French soil. But it just did not work out. It's just the classic saying that when you try to be strong everywhere, you're actually being strong nowhere. And you could say the same thing about the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Like, you look at their initial attack and it's just like, where's their axis of attack? Like, where's their main spearhead? You know what I mean? It was kinda on Kiev. But Kiev was very, very unlikely to fall. Like, what kind of country doesn't defend their capital? Like, do you not remember what happened to the Germans outside of Moscow? Like, you know, like, read your own history, guys. Or pay for it. Self-destruct. Overwhelmed by our attacks, the Poles have given up their position around Mlawa. The garrison has blown up the remaining fortifications for withdrawing to the south. But it's sweet, sweet victory. At substantial cost, the enemy defences have finally been broken as the Polish forces retreat south. Our troops continue their advance towards the capital city of Warsaw.